Right now, NBC 26 live at 10. 26 people are dead at a shooting at a church in Texas. We have the very latest. Plus, police looking for a suspect who they say fired shots in a Berlin home. And it's official, Governor Walker announcing his 2018 re-election campaign. Another mass shooting in America, this time the worst mass shooting ever at American House of Worship. A gunman reportedly entered a Texas church this morning and opened fire. More than 20 people were killed and more wounded. NBC's Dan Sheneman reports.
A peaceful morning of worship turned into tragedy. Local media reports say an armed man opened fire late this morning inside a church in Sutherland Springs, Texas. Carrie Matula was working at a gas station about 50 yards away.
It was rapid fire. It was just boom, 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 boom. And you could hear that there was impact, and there was ricochet, too.
First responders raced to the scene. The Wilson County Sheriff says approximately 25 were killed. The shooter is among the dead. Sutherland Springs is a small town, just a few hundred people, not far from San Antonio.
A real small community. You never think in the world that something like this in this community can happen like this. I mean, it's sad. It's really sad.
President Trump tweeted, "May God be with the people of Sutherland Springs, Texas. The FBI and law enforcement are on the scene. I am monitoring the situation from Japan." Dan Sheneman, NBC News.
Law enforcement has identified the shooter as Devin Patrick Kelly. He's 26 years old from Como County, Texas. No word on a possible motive just yet. And it's an NBC 26 follow-up. Now, police say a home invader in Berlin got much more than he bargained for when he found himself face-to-face with the house's owner. NBC 26's Max Grossfeld joins us now from the Green Bay newsroom with the latest. Max.
Officers with the Berlin Police Department say a man entered a house on the 100 block of Liberty Street just after 7:15 Saturday evening. That's where he found the homeowner, who happened to be armed. Police say the homeowner chased off the intruder by firing a few shots. The suspect then ran away, possibly in a light blue minivan. Officers say he's a white man with short blonde hair. One neighbor we talked to says she keeps a gun in her house specifically for occasions like this.
I do, especially I have 3 kids at home. It's just a comfort knowing that if something were to come up that I would be protected if needed.
Armstrong told us she was surprised not only that this happened in her neighborhood, but it happened early on in the evening. Berlin Police Chief Dennis Plant says in a statement, "This is an isolated incident and there's no imminent threat to the community." Reporting in the Green Bay newsroom, Max Grossfeld, NBC 26.
And we reached out to the Berlin Police Department for an on-camera interview, but they told us no one was available today. Authorities in Oshkosh are investigating how a fire got started in a home. They say it happened on the 1500 block of Jackson Street and say there were no injuries to any people or animals. But if you do have any information, please contact the Oshkosh Police Department. The Shawnee County Sheriff's Office reports crews rescued 2 juvenile males earlier this evening who they say were knee-deep in water as their boat was shrinking in the Navarino Wildlife Area. The Sheriff's Office says crews were able to track the 2 down because the males were shining a flashlight. Well, more gray skies, but at least it's milder today. Matt Hoffman has a quick look at your first forecast. Matt.
Hey, Mo, yeah, but it does turn colder as we start the work week for tomorrow. Here's a look at current conditions in Green Bay. It's 35 degrees right now, but with that west-northwest breeze still out there, wind chills are down to 20 in the 20s, 26 degrees in fact, and we have that colder air moving on in. Still quite a bit of cloud cover out there, but that should decrease later on tonight. We'll see some sunshine to start off your Monday. The clouds, though, holding on pretty tough here this hour, though. Here's your forecast for Monday. We'll start off with sunshine, a cold start in the 20s. Wind chills in some spots will be down to the teens. Highs tomorrow only near 40 degrees, and increasing clouds through the afternoon will stay dry as we head into the evening. We'll talk about that evening forecast for tomorrow. We got the Packers game, and then also taking a look at the rest of your work week coming up in the full forecast.
All right, thank you so much, Matt. And covering America Now, the first day of President Trump's 5-nation trip to Asia began with a low-key agenda that included golf and dinner with Japan's prime minister and a speech to U.S. troops. NBC's Chris Jansing reports from Tokyo on what's the plan for the rest of the trip.
Very busy first day for President Trump on this 12-day 5-nation tour of Asia. And he made news right away, even before landing at Yokota Air Base. He told the press that he's likely to meet later on in this trip with Russia's Vladimir Putin. Topic? what to do about North Korea. He wants to enlist the help of the Russian leader, wanting to get together a whole group of these nations to be unified against their nuclear threat. And then when he landed and went and spoke to a group of U.S. military, without mentioning North Korea by name, he made it clear what the U.S. is prepared to do.
Together with our allies, America's warriors are prepared to defend our nation using the full range of our unmatched capabilities. No one, no dictator, no regime, and no nation should underestimate ever American resolve.
No sign, in fact, of anything but confidence today. A brief appearance with Prime Minister Abe and their wives at dinner over steak and scallops. And earlier on the golf course, not just with Abe, who he played with at Mar-a-Lago back in Florida, but also the number 4 golfer in the world. According to the White House, 9 holes were very informal and they didn't keep score. Traveling with the president in Japan, I'm Chris Jansing for NBC News.
Covering Wisconsin now, Governor Walker launching his re-election campaign. Walker says his campaign will focus on improving the economy, raising incomes, bettering schools, and cutting taxes. His Democratic opponent, though, will be decided in the August primary, and more than a dozen are either running or considering it. But as Governor Walker made his big announcement today, he was still met with some opposition. Hundreds of critics rallied outside Walker's event in Waukesha to get his attention, many of them trying to convince him to oppose a bill banning sanctuary cities.
We need to hear him say that he's going to veto it. We also need him to stand up against the politics of hate.
As the governor kicks off his re-election campaign, there's a group also that promises to follow him to each of his stops as they fight for the increased minimum wage. Madison Mayor Paul Soglin is proposing an ordinance for convenience stores to keep records for at least 30 days. The cameras would need to create high-quality images with a date and time stamp. Stores would also have to post signs at all entrances and exits, letting customers know they're being recorded. If passed in City Council, the ordinance would kick in 6 months later. Well, it's a little too early for a Throwback Thursday, of course, but some former members of the Green and Gold did return to Lambeau today. Also, what's the weather going to look like for the rest of the weekend? Your forecast up next.
You're connected to NBC 26 News at 10 with Regina On, Matt Hoffman Weather, and Chris Ferrier Sports. NBC 26 News at 10, keeping you connected. And now, your Storm Shield forecast with NBC 26 meteorologist Matt Hoffman.
A lot of clouds today, but at least it was a little bit milder. Highs topping out in the upper 40s to right around 50 degrees across most of northeast Wisconsin. But colder air is moving on in. Currently 35 degrees right now in Green Bay. West-northwest winds at 13 miles per hour. And that's going to make for a colder start, a much colder start as we head into tomorrow morning as temperatures drop and winds will still remain a touch breezy through the overnight hours. So those wind chills later tonight could get down into the teens in some spots. Here's a look at satellite radar and showing quite a bit of cloud cover out there still, but later tonight as high pressure continues to build into the area, we should see those clouds start to break up. So sunshine to start off tomorrow, but then there will be a little weak disturbance off to the west that will move on in, increase the clouds for the second half of tomorrow, and maybe even a few flurries possible for parts of the area tomorrow night. Here's a look at temperatures across the upper Midwest. Notice the colder air off to our west, and that colder air is moving across the Badger State, and those temperatures will continue to drop. Right now in the 30s across the area, most of us. 35 in Sturgeon Bay, it's 34 in Clintonville, 32 for you folks in Wautoma, 34 in Oshkosh, 37 in Sheboygan, and 28 degrees right now in Antigo. Wind speeds, again, fairly breezy. Winds will diminish, though, as we head on into tomorrow. Wind chills are in the 20s, 19 degrees, though, in Antigo, and a few spots up to the north. If you're watching from Shawano, likely could see wind chills dropping down into the teens later on tonight. Here's a look at those forecast wind chills overnight. Some spots dropping down into the teens. The rest of us at least getting down into the lower 20s for wind chills. So definitely dress warm heading out the door tomorrow morning. But we will see some sunshine. That'll be nice, but it will be a colder day in general. Highs only right around 40 degrees. Notice some increased clouds through the afternoon into tomorrow evening. Here's a look at Skycast as we head through the overnight. Decreasing clouds, we'll see those clouds increase back into the area though later on the day tomorrow, on into tomorrow night. Maybe a few flurries possible, but no widespread snow expected. And then skies should clear out as we go throughout the day on your Tuesday, but still fairly chilly temperatures with highs near 40 degrees. Here's your forecast for the Packers game tomorrow against the Lions. Should be dry heading to Lambeau Field. That's the good news, but it will be a bit chilly. Temperatures right at freezing for kickoff tomorrow night. 2 rounds of colder air. The first round on the cooler side for sure, highs around 40 through about Wednesday, but then a bigger shot, a stronger shot of cold air moves on in for Friday to wrap up the week, and we could see highs not getting out of the 20s on Friday and still fairly chilly into next weekend as well, and we may actually see some accumulating snow Saturday into Sunday for much of the area. We'll watch that, but no, we're not going to fall back again, just so you know. Here's a look at the forecast for tonight. Down to 26, clearing skies on the colder side to start off tomorrow. Highs up around 40 for your Monday. A mix of sun and clouds. We'll see those clouds increase for the second half of the day. And yeah, you know, it's going to get colder by the end of the week. That looks to be the prevailing theme now. And this weekend, we're going to have to watch that closely. Could see some snow for the area, much of the area.
Before that happens, they can enjoy the Packer game and much nicer weather tomorrow, a little bit at least.
At least it's going to be dry for the game tomorrow, but just a touch chilly.
Good for people watching and good for the players. All right, thank you so much, Matt. Well, still ahead. It's a little too early for Throwback Thursday, most would agree, but some former members of the Green and Gold did return to Lambeau. Welcome back. NBC 26, your official Packer station, and some former members of the Green and Gold were at Lambeau today, not to suit up and hit the field, though. The Pack welcomed back Don Davey and Tyrone Williams for the Packers-Lions game, which is going to be tomorrow. They were signing autographs and also visiting with fans.
I think it's awesome. I think all of the players know how much all of the fans love them, no matter how long they're here, no matter how well they do. I think it's just an awesome thing, and I think they look forward to it, actually.
Williams will also be signing autographs tomorrow at the Legends Club on the Associate Bank Club level. Also, former Packers wide receiver Antonio Freeman playing tour guide today as part of the Lambeau Field Alumni Tour. On top of checking out the stadium, people got to hear stories from him and get insights from an actual player. Some fans say Freeman brings flashbacks.
I always liked Antonio when him and Brett were together.
Why'd you like him? What'd you like about him?
That they were a team.
There's plenty of chance to meet some other former Packer players. Head to our website at NBC26.com. And thanks for spending your Sunday night with me. Stick around. There's more Packer stuff and other sports and Sports Rewind with Kelly Price coming up next. Stay tuned.